that was a high-level game. Both teams going at it. It was a total dogfight. Their kids played extremely hard. Ours did as well. Both teams diving on the floor for loose balls. Both teams going at it on the glass. I mean, I thought it was just a high-level basketball game. You know, if you were a fan today, we gave you 5 extra minutes to watch that. I mean, that was, you know, fortunately for us, we came out on the winning end. I think a lot of that had to do with our defense, giving them 1 field goal in the last 6 minutes or so of the game, and then making a few plays. You know, we've got some tough dudes in our locker room. We take a lot of pride in that, and I thought we were really tough late. But to their credit, they do too. I mean, I think that's a really good basketball team. I thought Farrell was terrific today. I thought Vonleh was great. You know, I thought they coached them up. They do a great job watching them on film, how much they've improved in, you know, 14 games. But we've also improved in 14 games. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see what both teams look like here towards the end. But I thought it was a heavyweight, you know, boxing match, and it was a high-level game. So, questions that you might have for the players?
Ray, what were your impressions your first time out in the Big Ten against a big rival, great environment? What were your impressions on the atmosphere and all that?
I mean, we had a couple games here like that already. Oregon, we played a couple other big ones like Mizzou, and it was like the same thing. I mean, we just stayed poised and tried to execute.
Tracy, what's the difference at the end of these games, the last couple of games, you guys have been able to close them out more early on? You kind of struggled.
No question, our defense. Think about the UIC game, they had 15 points, something like that. Tonight we hit a 1 field goal in 6 minutes. I mean, there's no question about our defense is, you know, pretty good when we locked in and focused.
Do you feel like you hit a different gear tonight?
First of all, my teammates put me in great positions to score, and coach just called some plays for me, and we got to execute.
Ray, any concern when you go to the line with 2 seconds to go about the previous 2 free throws you had?
This is just mental. I mean, I get reps up all the time, so I mean, just going up there and just knocking them out.
Either one of you guys have spent some time on him. Coach mentioned Farrell a little bit. Can you talk about his play tonight, what makes him so tough and so good out there?
He was real big tonight for them, for his team. You know, he was trying to find a way for them to win. He was making plays, and credit to our D, you know, we found a way to contain him at certain part of the game. Yeah, he's worked pretty hard this offseason. He's showing it.
Just to go back to you were talking about just the defense at the end of the game and working. What were you guys doing? You know, more specifically, that's kind of, you said you were locked in, but what's been working for you guys in that regard?
Just being together and, you know, communicating. Nothing special. Just as simple as that. You know, if guys connected out there, pretty sure we can find a way.
Tracy, you've gone through this before. Big Ten season. You know, what's it like to start off on the right foot like this today with the win?
It's a great win, and you know, this shows our younger guys like this Big Ten season is a grind. Got to take every game one game at a time. You know, you can't look ahead and stuff like that. So, you know, this just shows. First Big Ten game is overtime game, and it shows our league.
Ray, everybody calls you guys tough. Where do you draw that from?
I mean, coach emphasized that from the first day everybody got here on campus, and just being tough, just making the extraordinary play, just giving the extra effort, just being tough.
Ray, I know it's a team game, but when you got Farrell going off like that, and you kind of match, you know, does that add anything to what's going on in the court?
I mean, we tried to do the best we could to stop him, but I mean, yeah, somebody come down and score on us, I mean, it goes back to that tough deal. We just come back and try to go at it.
Saw you coming off the court, Sam and DJ was there. You spent a moment with them. What's it like having those guys back here and being able to perform in front of those guys?
Those 2 guys symbolize what Illinois basketball is about. I mean, they play tough every time they're on the court, and we just try to follow in their footsteps and do the same thing they did while they were here.
Red, when Tom Green was here a few minutes ago, he talked about the toughness and togetherness of the Illini team. I'm not making that up. So he's even scouted your terminology. Did you sense that their defense knew more about your game than any opponent so far this year? Did they have you better scouted?
I mean, they did a great job guarding most of all our actions, but we executed and we were a better team than that.
Tracy, did you get any sense that they had a better idea of what your tendencies were?
No, we keep coming, good or bad. I think that's one of our strengths. And we're gonna try to find a way. We're just gonna keep attacking.
Tracy, how important was it to win the tip in overtime and get that first basket?
That was a great win for us, no doubt. But that's a win. We celebrate today. Tomorrow, back in the drawing boards. Next game.
You're talking about the first basket of the half there.
The overtime.
The ATO we executed out of the timeout there. It was tied. We got the tip. How big was that possession? Man, made the jumper.
Every possession is big for us. You can go back to any player and say that. But obviously, Nana came through and knocked the shot down. Coach drew up a good play for us. We executed well. Nana winded up knocking down the shot.
Nice to celebrate the new year with a win. Obviously, better than the alternative.
I mean, yeah, it's great. I mean, but we just gonna celebrate this one and then just move on and get ready for Penn State on Saturday.
Can you just talk a little about the atmosphere tonight, Tracy? I mean, and last year's game being so big and, a huge crowd here tonight, what it was like on the court?
It was a great crowd for us. You definitely can feed off the energy that the crowd is. Definitely appreciate the support the fans give to us. That made a difference, but rather than people thinking they're not fans screaming, just to gives guys that extra juice, go out there and want to make that extra play.
All right, I'll let the players go. We'll continue with questions for the Coach Groce.
Questions?
Jeff, turnovers and steals were remarkable. You only had 10 turnovers and you had 12 steals.
Yeah, we've done a good job of taking care of the ball all year. We've talked about that, taking a lot of pride in it, continuing to climb. I think coming into the game, we were right around 50th in the country out of 350 plus teams, and we want to get better, even better than that. So we've turned it over, I think it was 4 times the other day. In the UIC game, 10 today, and that game in a 45-minute game. We made a couple of plays here and there, but that we'd like to have back, and maybe on some reads off the pick and rolls. But all in all, I think taking care of the ball is a strength of our team. I thought our hands were active, which led to some of those steals you're talking about. I thought that we were really, locked in there. And I give them credit, they made some plays. They shot the 3 really well. They hadn't done that to this point, but those kids are getting better. They executed well. It just goes to show you there's different games. Nana was shooting 46% from 3 coming into the game. He had 4 clean looks, didn't make one. Vonleh was 1 for 6 from 3 coming into the game and bangs 2 of them. It's just his players making plays. And both those guys, Vonleh and Edwu, are good players. He just made a couple, Nana didn't make a couple of his. We're going to continue to encourage Nana to shoot that ball. He's earned that right. I mean, he'll make 3 or 4 in practice like it's nothing. We don't win the at UNLV game unless he makes 2. We probably don't win the Missouri game unless he wins 2. So, he just got to stay with it and continue to hunt good ones.
To force 23 turnovers and hold them without a big one for as long as you did, what was it defensively that you were most happy with the guys?
Well, Tracy said it. They're so good on offense, so well coached. They put their players in position to succeed. I've got a lot of respect for Tom and what they do with their team and their personnel. I think the biggest thing was just the communication. When you communicate like that, you're really connected. And those 5 guys that were closing the game, they've gotten used to playing, together in that situation. We've been in that situation now, 7 or 8 times now, I think. DB and I were joking the other day, and I understand you guys have a job to do, but close, twice. How about the 5 or 6 that we have closed? At some point, IPFW down 4, UNLV down 10, Missouri type ball game, down 7 with 7 to go. You close those, So we got some tough guys, and they were able to do that today, especially on the defensive end. I thought they were able to get some stops.
You were a reporter. How would you report on the officiating?
No comment. Those guys are doing obviously the best job they can. Our league has some of the best in the country, and you got to coach the game You know, I deserved the technical foul, so, you know, Mark gave it to me, I deserved it.
Considering the game Farrell had, how pleased were you with your ability to deny him the ball on the stretch?
Well, I thought Ray did a good job of that. You know, we emphasized that a little bit late in the game. We were hoping to get some other guys to try to make some plays, but, you know, fortunately, he had 30. I mean, I thought he was terrific. So I thought that was big, though. Just trying to get some other guys maybe to make a play or two, try to push him out a little bit further, out on the floor. I thought helped us.
What do you think about how some of your young guys performed in their first Big Ten test?
I thought they were good. I thought their minutes and the possessions they played were really valuable. You know, I thought Morgan and Colbert really battled in the first half. I thought Hill was ready to go. You know, Tate was ready to go. Made a couple of passes I think he'd like to have back. You know, Jalen's one of those guys that's hard on himself. He doesn't like to throw the ball away. We'll take a look at those. We'll get better with that. Nunn was unbelievable late in the game. I mean, he read the zone up on the on ball, deflects the ball. He comes up with the loose ball. He had a really good block out, and I thought he made a lot of toughness plays for us late in the game.
Coach, I'll try that again. I'm not critical, but I'm just asking how difficult it must be to be able to officiate a game when you got so much going on out there, particularly in the post.
Yeah, I thought it was a really aggressive game. I think that's a good point, Lauren. I just thought both teams were attacking, aggressive on the glass in transition. You know, I just thought it was really physical. I thought it was, I said it at the outset here, I thought it was a high-level game, man. It was a big-time game.
You thought about asking Levante to miss the second free throw there, 2 seconds?
No. Not that, no. We just kind of stayed with it. I let him do what he does there, and then obviously that gave us a chance to sub and put Nana on the ball. Nana's pretty long and can be maniacal on the ball. He can be hard to throw over. You know, so we were good there.
John Ray always seems to find some kind of fire, and when a guy like Yogi's going off like that, do you see him reach down and go to more depths than he normally does?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a tough guy. I mean, obviously he does a lot of things from a skill set perspective and a production statistically perspective, but I think his best quality is he's just a tough guy. I mean, but he's not the only one that's like that. I mean, we got a lot of them, and that makes it fun to coach them. You know, we're not real pretty all the time, but we battle and fight and claw and scratch. So we got some tough guys. They're fun to coach.
Talk a little about last year. You were very dependent on three-point shots. This year, 2 for 17 from three. You still come out with the win. Guys still brought it on defense. Last year, your offense, early in the Big Ten at least, the offense kind of dictated your defense. You talk about the evolution of that as a program?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think it's just a part of, it's exactly that. Your phrase is a great one, the evolution of a program, the culture, the mindset being, those guys will tell you, you come here to play. Everyone is expected to defend and rebound and have responsibilities in those two areas. No one gets a free pass. Doesn't matter how good you are in offense. So I think that what's happened is, and ironically, Richardson and McLaurin were here today. Those guys pass that along, like Ray said, to him, to Tracy. Iki's just wired that way. He defends and rebounds. To Nana, Joe's gotten better defensively from last year to this year. And then now their job is to pass that along to the younger guys. And then that becomes the whole concept of, I think Tony Dungy calls it regenerative leadership, and that's what you want. That's how you build a program, and you build a culture where that becomes a part of your identity. And obviously, now we're a lot closer now than we were when we started in year one.
Is Iki's steal symbolic of all that fighting and scratching and clawing?
What's that?
Was Iki's steal there at the end?
Oh, it's a big play. Dove on the floor for a loose ball. I mean, he leads us right now in Matto plays. I mean, he's a winner. He does a lot of the intangible things really, really well that help your team win. So, everybody in our locker room really respects John.
Talk to the crowd a little bit, Jen.
Oh, it's unbelievable, Jim. Been phenomenal. Someone asked me, I think I said this on the radio a couple weeks ago, hey, your Big Ten openers, the students are gone. What do you think the crowd will be like? And, I said, hey, I'm a fan watching our guys. I like to watch our guys play because they're so tough. I said, they'll Illini Nation will show out. They'll come out. And they did. So I give our fans a lot of credit. I thought they were a huge, huge six-man today. The environment in there was electric. I mean, it was great. But I'd expect, my expectations for our, fan base in Illini Nation are pretty high. So I would expect nothing less, but they certainly were, made a big difference today, as Tracy alluded to.
Jeff,